Hey, GLP1 plus sides community. Before we jump into the podcast, please take the time to leave us a 5-star review on whatever audio platform you're listening to the podcast on. Share your story and how the podcast has helped you. This will help us get referred up in the audio platform so that we can reach more people that need our help, our support, and guidance from our doctors. Help us get loud and change things. Are you interested in understanding GLP-1 medications like Ozempic, wegovy, or Mounjaro? Then join us on the Plus Sides Cracking the Obesity Code, the groundbreaking podcast helping people change their lives one episode at a time. The Plus Sides podcast is a disruptor. We're breaking down barriers, smashing stereotypes, and sharing inspiring stories that'll leave you feeling informed and empowered. Join us every week to learn from doctors who are specialists around GLP-1 medications like Ozempic, wegovy, and Mounjaro. They'll provide you with science and facts to validate these incredible stories. But that's not all. We'll also bring you the voices of the GLP-1 Mounjaro TikTok community, real people who face the challenges of obesity-related diseases and disorders and discovered the incredible plus sides of GLP-1 medications. Our episodes are filled with heartwarming stories, laughter, and moments of triumph. You'll connect with our amazing community members who are reclaiming their health and experiencing their fullest lives. Are you ready to embark on a journey of discovery and empowerment? Tune in to the Plus Sides Cracking the Obesity Code, and together we'll change the narrative around obesity and end the stigma. Subscribe now on YouTube or your favorite podcast platform and join our incredible community. Let's celebrate the plus sides of life together, because every story deserves to be heard. Every life deserves to shine, and everyone deserves access to expert knowledge and medication. The Plus Sides Podcast. You're not alone. It's not your fault. Hey everyone, before we dive in, I really want to share something personal with you. About, I want to say like 8 to 10 months ago, after losing 100 pounds on GLP-1s and keeping it off for a long time, I started regaining out of nowhere, and I was terrified. But I also started having hot flashes and bouts of crying and snacky cravings and waking up at 3 a.m. unable to go back to sleep. It turns out I was in perimenopause. So I started hormone replacement therapy, which is also called HRT, through a telehealth called Winona that specializes in this. And it changed everything. And now I'm sleeping better. And my hot flashes are all but gone, thank God. And I feel like myself again. And it turns out that you can actually start perimenopause as early as 35. And well, I'm 46 and she's here. HRT has really come a long way, and there's just no need to suffer anymore. So if you're like this and you're in the same boat, you can check out buywinona.com and you can use the link in our link tree to save some money.
Want the fastest working GLP-1? For half the price, Ro now offers FDA-approved weight loss injections cheaper, with results you can see faster. Lose 15% of your weight with the formula from Eli Lilly that hits not one, but 2 hormones to curb hunger and nausea. Weight loss faster, confidence higher, price cheaper. See if you qualify at ro.co/TV.
Welcome to the Plus Sides Podcast.
I just have to say this, that I love it when I get to talk to you, Kim. I know it's kind of weird to say that, but it gives me energy.
What?
When you,
Is
it
it 'cause I'm
does. When I
crazy?
record
'Cause I'm
this,
crazy.
yeah. When we
Well, yeah, I
record.
mean, me too. It also makes me tired after, though, because I'm old.
It does.
But
But it energizes me.
yeah, it's
So
called
thanks, Kim.
it's called joy. Hey,
It
what's
is.
up? That's
It
right.
is. It's called
Changing
doing
my
what
name to
makes you
joy.
happy. I get
It's
it.
because we like helping people, and when we're doing this, we know we are. Yeah. It helps when you get I get messages probably, I would say several times a week. People are like, it's changing my life. It's changing my life. And I keep thinking I feel like it's just the medicine that's changing your life, but that's not what it is. They say that it's the self-talk, that it's the hearing that it's not their fault, that hearing that they're not alone, and it like helps them unwind it all,
Totally.
So it's like, even if we don't ever change anything big, like with legislation, maybe we at least helped a little,
The whole shame thing.
Yeah. The shame thing's intense.
The shame thing is intense.
Yeah. Are you interested in understanding GLP-1 medications like Ozempic, Wegovy, or Mounjaro? Then join us on the Plus Sides, Cracking the Obesity Code, the groundbreaking podcast helping people change their lives one episode at a time. The Plus Sides podcast is a disruptor. We're breaking down barriers, smashing stereotypes, and sharing inspiring stories that'll leave you feeling informed and empowered. Join us every week to learn from doctors who are specialists around GLP-1 medications like Ozempic, Wegovy, or Mounjaro. They'll provide you with science and facts to validate these incredible stories. But that's not all. We'll also bring you the voices of the GLP-1 Mounjaro TikTok community, real people who face the challenges of obesity-related diseases and disorders and discovered the incredible plus sides of GLP-1 medications. Our episodes are filled with heartwarming stories, laughter, and moments of triumph. You'll connect with our amazing community members who are reclaiming their health and experiencing their fullest lives. Are you ready to embark on a journey of discovery and empowerment? Tune in to the Plus Sides, Cracking the Obesity Code, and together we'll change the narrative around obesity and end the stigma. Subscribe now on YouTube or your favorite podcast platform and join our incredible community. Let's celebrate the plus sides of life together, because every story deserves to be heard. Every life deserves to shine, and everyone deserves access to expert knowledge and medication. The Plus Sides podcast. You're not alone.
Prince obsessed.
It indeed
This is my
does.
sweatshirt.
I mean, Kat, you're a lot Prince obsessed, and this is very common.
I don't know if you can see it.
You even have a rug that's Prince.
Like my mug.
Why Darth? Why Darth Vader? Is he Darth Prince and I just don't know it?
No.
But I'm bummed.
My husband's mug.
Oh, okay.
My half
Nice.
decaf and regular for the night.
Okay. Well, yeah,
Anyway.
that's probably smart. If I do that, I ain't going to bed. I was talking to Lydia earlier and I was like, she was like, if I have even a drop of coffee after like 3, I'll be up all night. I'm the same way. It's bizarre, right?
But you're not truly ADHD then, are you?
Yes.
I'm kidding.
Yes.
It hits people in all different ways.
Girl, let me tell you, I was like this. So I was diagnosed when I was a little girl in elementary school. Yeah. And my mom was like, I'm not giving her drugs. She's a child. Maybe you should have. I'm just kidding.
Well, yeah. Well, yeah. They put my niece on was it Vyvanse when she was a teenager?
Yeah. They had
The
that.
signs were there though. The signs were there.
Yeah.
So
sure.
like we see it now as adults.
I don't know. Part of me thinks that everyone that was born during the age of the internet has ADHD. You know what I'm saying? Have you seen TikTok?
She had to have always like tissue. She always had to hold tissue. It was a texture thing. She always had to be twisting and fidgeting with something.
It's called stimming.
She was stimming. And as we're like regular adults, like, oh, that's just her hang up. No, she had the signs.
She's got the ADHD. She's got the ADHD.
Sorry, Corinne. I put your business out there. I just called her name out.
And you just did a little more. Wait, what's this? Oh. What's it? Oh, this right here, ladies and gentlemen. This is the way that you can support the podcast. 1, you can get a Stanley and have it shaped like a Mounjaro mug or zepbound. I think there's a zepbound one now too. With our coupon code +10 to get $10 off. Or you can get that one from our merch store, which Kat has abused.
I really have abused this.
That is a hot mess, Kat. That's when you take the cycle bar.
So they got new bikes at the cycle bar, and this is the only one that fits. Like I can't use that Stanley anymore. So perfect. See,
where do you think they put the old bikes when they like cycle?
You can sell them.
When they're like, I feel like but who would just sell them to? Like a jankety gym?
I don't get it. They are so beat to hell, honestly. Yeah, I broke 3 of them. Honestly,
maybe they recycle them and get like a cut.
I think they do. They probably take to some like sporting goods, old gym.
Like if it's bad enough for you to like change your bikes out, they can't be good. That's expensive.
Oh yeah, they were Well, they bought the new bikes used-ish too. So
okay, word.
But they're super good.
We should
let's get to business.
So JT's not with us tonight. It's just me and Kat. Sorry, so sorry. Too bad, so sad. But this is how it's going to be tonight. We are going to have the host plus -1 of the Waiting Table podcast. So those of you who don't know me, I'll tell you real quick. I'm Kim. Hey. And I had sushi today and it was glorious. And the reason I'm telling you that is because I had lap band surgery in 2007. And this is the first time that I have had sushi since not having a lap band. As a matter of fact, I didn't even eat sushi before. And eating sushi with the lap band is tricky business.
Really?
Yeah.
That's
It gets stuck.
interesting. Why?
Yeah.
What
It's
what was the reason? Why was it tricky
it's
business?
just being so clumpy and icky. Like it just
Ew.
gets I know, it just gets like stuck. Like and it's very uncomfortable and miserable. And one of the reasons like a lot of people hate lap band and they're glad to have it removed. So I had mine since 2007. I just got mine removed in November of last year. And I had sushi today and I eat the shit out of that sushi. I made that sushi my I was like, I put like wasabi all over it. I like went to, I was like, oh, it wasn't like I
Yeah.
overate. I just ate all the sushi in the land and I may not have chewed a lot and I'm okay with that. I'm okay with that.
Okay.
You know, I was
It used
like,
to be my
oh,
jam. I think I overdid it. I'm like, I could do
it's jam.
sushi. But it used
You
to be
don't
my
like,
whole entire jam. I loved sushi for the longest.
oh,
But
yeah.
now
Well, now
it's okay.
it's the first time I've had it since the surgery. And now I'm like, I'm going to have it more
All the
often
sushis.
in the land. Yeah.
I agree.
Anyway,
Good.
so back to the point is the Waiting Table podcast. Yay. So I'm going to
This is
invite on
exciting.
the host. We're down one, but you're going to get to meet them. They're going to tell their story. And then they brought another friend with them too to help validate those stories with
It's a
facts, science, and data.
party.
It is a party. I know.
It's a
Bariatric, even though
party.
I feel like I'm still in the Berry family, minus I still had one for a long time.
You did.
You know,
You
that
had
was my
one.
life.
Technically,
Yeah.
you had one.
Yeah. So I'm very, very happy it's gone though. Here we go. Hey, Rob.
Hi, Rob.
Hey, Shay. How you doing?
Hey, how are you guys?
So I see you're down somebody. Can you tell us a little bit about why? So they won't be like Kim didn't invite them, you know?
Oh, Shay, you're on mute.
She doesn't want to really tell the story. She just wants
Tell
to
us the
pretend she
story.
cares.
Poor Murph, our lost soldier of the
Oh,
night.
yeah.
He is sick, so he was really sad that he missed tonight, and he said to say hello. But unfortunately, you're left with just me and Rob, and we're probably the
Yes,
worst
we
out
can
of the
do.
three.
Oh, stop.
I agree. I
I
absolutely
doubt
Well,
it.
agree.
Rob is at least. Rob is the
Rob.
worst out of the three of us.
Let's be honest here.
Well, this is a safe space, much like when I came on your show. You know, I'd love for you guys just to take the wheel and take the space
Yeah.
and tell us your story. So,
Rob.
Shay, do you want to start, or Rob, do you want to start,
okay.
or whoever?
No.
Pick.
Shay
It's not
can
orchestrated.
start.
They always
Jesus,
have
take the
that
wheel.
leg
Let's
up
go.
on me. They always go ladies first. They always pull
Sure.
that on me
Yeah.
all the time. So I'll
Dang it.
take it. I'll take it in stride.
Okay, we'll take it.
Perfect. What's up? My name is Shay, and I am 29 years old. I had bariatric surgery. In March, it'll be my 2-year anniversary. So I've always struggled with the disease of obesity, always just lived in a larger body. But really, it wasn't until my husband and I started to try to conceive that I kind of looked into different options to lose weight. And I think very similar to many people who are watching and probably on this podcast right now, I tried all of the diets, all of the fads, and nothing ever worked. And it was very frustrating. And I ended up getting diagnosed with polycystic ovarian syndrome, or PCOS, in December of 2020. And then once I got diagnosed with that, I feel like that's really where my journey began, where I started learning more about nutrition, just stuff that I wasn't taught. Like I didn't know, what macros were, or, oh, maybe I should be eating, a balanced meal, or several meals throughout the day. And I was definitely under eating. And I think that's one of the biggest misconceptions, people who have the disease of obesity. I often find that is the case, where we're not eating enough, because what are we told all of our lives? Eat less, exercise, and then we'll lose weight, which is not how it works. And so I started just learning more about my body, learning more about hormones. Rob and Murph always love when I get into that portion of having regular cycles and my period, all of that. I'm very open about that, which Rob and Murph love. And so just learning more about my body, because again, I was just not taught that. And so it was really frustrating, because for about a solid year, I was eating what I needed to support my body. I was working with a nutritionist to help me with that. I was moving my body, and it was like come on, like, why isn't this working? I still have this excess weight. I wasn't having a regular cycle. And it was actually my mother-in-law who had bariatric surgery, who started just kind of telling me a bit more about her journey and experience, and in a very kind way, not in a judgmental way, but just asked me if that was something that I considered, because she saw research about how bariatric surgery can really help with conceiving and having healthy babies. And so at first I was like, no, like I, had the misconception of, I'm not like 600 pounds, I don't need to have bariatric surgery. I'm not to that point yet. And then the more that I looked into it, I was like, I think this is actually a really good option for me. And so I did a lot of research, figured it was a good choice for me, had the surgery done. And I'm making it sound like, bing, bang, really, really quick, but it was a long process to kind of get there. And it was something that was the right decision for me. So fast forward, I'm 2 years post-op now. I have fairly regular cycles, which is really exciting. My hormones have improved a lot. Yeah. And, there's still some things that I'm kind of working through with that, but I've lost just about 100 pounds. So at my highest weight, I was at 283 pounds. I got down to 183, and then I've gained a little bit back since then. But my life is just really different. And I think sometimes it's easy to look at people who've lost a lot of weight and think, oh, they just feel good about themselves now because they've lost the weight. And I really try to be careful when I'm sharing my story that having weight loss surgery didn't make me worthy or didn't make me a good person because I lost weight. It was really just the catalyst to do a lot of self-discovery, a lot of learning about myself. And I'm just a happier and healthier person than I was when I started my journey. So that's just a little bit about me.
That's amazing. Thank you. I love that. I think that you make such a good point. I look back on kind of like who I am now. I'm telling you, I've always been like this. Like I've always been big personality, kind of crazy. I think for me, like we talk about, so like on my end, like I had surgery, right? But then I've been on GLP1s, and I think just there was a realization for me of taking them, where I realized it wasn't my fault. So what they've done is been able to be like, forgive myself, but I never hated myself, or there are things I didn't like about myself.
Mm-hmm.
But like my mom was the ultimate hype girl, and we had our stuff, we had our diet culture stuff, but my mom was like, you will not talk about yourself like that. Nobody talks about my baby like that,
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And I think that is one of the biggest reasons that I'm like, I don't know, still standing. Cause like this world will beat you down pretty good when you are overweight, especially as a child,
Yes.
But
well, and that shame piece you both spoke of a while ago, it's like untangling that and going, where did that come from? Why is that there? It's a journey, it's a process, but that's my biggest message. I always try to share with people, like, you're loved, you're worthy, and it doesn't matter what size you are. None of that matters. It matters just that it is. So
yeah. I think I'm wondering if you're open to a couple questions. Is that okay?
Of course. Yeah, I'm a very open book, so feel free to ask away.
I have one comment I want to say.
Go away. I'm just kidding.
I would give you like all of the.
What do you think? You got a podcast or something?
I know. All the praise, all the hats off to you, Shay, to have it so much more figured out than I did at 27. So
right. Yeah.
I was sitting here listening to your story like, this is amazing. So
thank you. Well, and that's the thing. Like, I didn't know that obesity was a disease until I was actually into the process of getting stuff prepared for bariatric surgery. And I kind of was like, well, I could keep trying to do what I've been doing and it just hasn't been working, or I can do this younger. And so when I was kind of coming into this space, and part of why I started sharing my story is I didn't really see a lot of people who were my age getting the surgery and like what the outcomes were. And there's a lot more that have come up since, when I started looking into it. But I'm so thankful and glad that I got it done earlier on in life. Not saying that there's, I have people in the community who are 60 years old when they get the surgery done. And so there's not, obviously talk with your doctor to see if it's a good choice, but I'm really thankful it was the right choice for me.
Great.
Yeah.
Yep.
That's awesome.
My hat's off.
Did you, at the time when you were considering like the different ways to treat obesity and you were learning about it, did you consider anything other than surgery, like taking a GLP?
No, that wasn't ever something that was recommended. I didn't know anything about it. It was honestly until we had our podcast with you, Kim, when you came on, that I learned a lot just from that time where I just didn't know much about it before then. And so I did get diagnosed with attention deficit disorder. You were mentioning your ADD, ADHD.
Oh, yeah.
So that did help with more of like my binging tendencies when I got diagnosed, and I've been on medication for that for a while, but that was the only other treatment option. And that's not, necessarily a treatment option for obesity, but definitely with the binge eating disorder, it helped me with that.
Yeah.
And so, my doctor was really great and wasn't one of the doctors who was condemning or said, oh, if you just eat less and lose weight, like she understood the complexities of it. And so, but I think it's only honestly been in the last few years that I think it's becoming more, there's more education being shared within the clinical space to where more options are being presented. And those weren't presented to me at the time.
Yeah. Yeah. It's interesting. Like, cause Victoza Saxenda, I mentioned on your podcast, has been around a long time. Like it lost its patent last year. So I think it's interesting. Like nobody ever told me about it either. And I was your age when I had lap band. Wait, no, phrase. I was 27. That's what you were when you had.
Right.
And when I had that, I did it for very similar reasons, where like I wanted to have family, wanted to lose weight, I wanted to try to get ahead of it. So I wasn't 60 and doing it and that kind of thing. And it helped me quite a bit. It never regulated my cycles, but it helped me quite a bit. But I wish that someone had told me when I was 27 and I went to talk to them about surgery. Hey, like, would you like to try a GLP for a minute? Like, I wish that someone had said that, because I mean, honestly, it could have been that I had done that. And then eventually I was like, guys, I may still have sleep in the future. Like I have a chronic disease that continues to reoccur. Like I'm not throwing anything out, like it's whatever is the right tool, like kind of at the right time. You know what I mean?
But just knowing the options, right? That's what sucks. I think with a lot of our stories is that we weren't given like clear-cut options of these are all the options to choose from. What feels right, and having that conversation, which is a bummer. But that's why talking about it in these settings like is so important,
Yeah. And I think it's important too. Like there are so many people that have PCOS that have taken these medications and been able to regulate their cycles and then hopefully conceive. So especially for young women out there, if you are listening, I've been seeing more and more people like in their 20s engage with my content. Just like don't wait, like get tested and get your levels tested. Like that's, Sherman's will usually cover that just to see what's going on. And figure out what's going on. And if you have weight issues with obesity, talk to your doctor about using a GLP, because I think that if I had known, I might have more children. I really wanted more children. Like I had 2 miscarriages and then I had my son. He was my miracle baby, but I love being a mother. I love, like I get upset when I think about it, because it feels like this missed opportunity. If someone had just like, frankly, just fucking told me, and that just bothers me because I didn't know enough to ask. So if anybody's listening, the podcast has grown considerably recently. So if you're listening, like just go ask, advocate for your help, because it could make all the difference in the world. And as women, we only have so long.
Yes. And please reach out. Like I love engaging with people on my platform. So if you have any questions, obviously I'm not a doctor, I'm not a clinician, but if you need help in like what avenues do I kind of start trying to go down, I share a lot on my YouTube channel about like my story and more specifics to PCOS and whatnot. But I think that's what was so hard is like when I got the diagnosis, I didn't really know anybody who had it. And so it's like, what do? You go to the internet and you start looking and trying to find somebody who has a comparable story. And so anybody who's listening who got diagnosed or who needs support, please reach out, because you can feel really lonely and that sucks. But you're not alone. You're not.
Nope. It's not your fault. Nope. Nope. That's our whole thing. Not alone. It's not your fault. So we'll make sure we include the link to Shay's socials and Rob's as well, so that you guys can go and follow them, because it's awesome. Surgery or no surgery, like these people deal with the same disease that we all deal with. So
and that's something too. Like I love getting to meet new people, whether you struggle with the disease of obesity or not, whether you've had surgery or not. Like people are people. I love people, and so don't feel like because you haven't had surgery or that's not something you're considering that you can't hang out with me, because I love everybody. So
You're the best. Thank you. All
That's the
right.
cool
I
part on
guess we'll
TikTok
talk
too.
to Rob now that we've put all the lady parts away.
Right?
No,
Yeah. So we're opposite in that I do not like people. So we're just totally. I'm just kidding.
that's okay.
That's a good way to start it
I have
off.
those
Yeah,
days
right.
All
too,
right.
you know,
It's okay to
right?
be honest.
Um,
Here. It's a safe space.
Also, I always forget that, if we let Shay go first, then we also have to explain that she's 27 and we're older. So
I'm
we
29
always
now. I'm 29. I'm almost 30.
you're all grown up. I'm proud of you.
love the
You don't have
20s.
to
You know,
chaperone anymore. It's
Right.
like,
almost.
Yeah.
it's like bring your kid to podcast day. I love it.
As I drink out of my old Darth Vader cup, it just makes
Hey,
me
I have a
today.
descendant sippy cup, so we're
Okay,
good.
okay.
Oh, nice.
Yeah. Hello, everyone. My name is Rob Raffanan. I am one of the hosts of The Waiting Table. I am 40 years old. I live in Canada, and I had bariatric surgery. I had RNY. It'll be 4 years, actually, in September this year. And so loving every moment of this. This has been an amazing adventure for me. I try to utilize sort of my experience in a lot of different ways. So, I do a lot of group training, whether it's cycling, whether it's group running groups, whether it's circuit groups, just to try to promote healthy living moving forward now. I'm also a peer mentor at the UHN, or University Health Network in Toronto, where I had my surgery. And so, and I think that the podcast, The Waiting Table, is just an extension of sort of the collective experiences that we've had that we would like to share with people. Because when I had my surgery, I knew no one in real life who had bariatric surgery, and it was very, very difficult for me to connect with anyone or see myself in anyone, namely a younger male, Asian descent, having bariatric surgery, because young males don't really talk about having bariatric surgery. Asians don't often have bariatric surgery, let alone talk about it. And that's like a double X for Asian men. And so that was a big part of the idea of sort of having the waiting table, is to really be able to provide information and allow others to sort of see themselves in other people, and be able to learn and share those shared experiences. So it was really important for me. I started my journey at about 380 pounds. That was the largest sort of recorded number. I'm pretty sure I went over 400. It was just such a great experience. I think the most important thing for me was really the mindset, and having a gratitude mindset and being very thankful for everything, because life was hard as a big person, as we all know, right? I look back at it now, and the reason I had this surgery was because I had to go on long-term disability because I have chronic back issues, and I injured myself, and I was forced to take long-term disability. And for me, the hardest thing was being able to not support my family. So I have two kids. I have a daughter who is 9. I have a son who's turning 7 in a couple of weeks. And I always called myself, or considered myself, a present but absentee father. I was there, but I wasn't, right? Like, I was physically there, but I couldn't do much. And when I was there, I was preoccupied with pain, with being unhappy, with hiding my unhappiness. And oftentimes my kids were the ones who got the brunt of that, right? And my loved ones, my wife, for example. And so, it's not a fun or easy life to go through, or an existence to go through, where you sort of make it day by day. You don't look at the future because all you're thinking about is the pain that you're in right now. And what do you have to look forward to, right? And so I ended up having an intervention. So a lot of my neighbors actually had an intervention with me where, they expressed how concerned they were, because we have a very close street, and, me not being able to move, being in a wheelchair sometimes, being walking with a cane at 37, and me constantly being in pain. They really wanted to help me sort of move forward and get control of my health back. And that was a great way to start. And though it didn't equate to all the change. It really was the thing that started everything off. And so with the people on my street, we ended up starting a cycling club, because I had asked them, I can't walk, but if I buy a bike, will you bike with me? And they said, anytime you ask. And we ended up biking pretty much every day for the first 2 months. And then it was wintertime. And I had the idea of possibly joining a gym with virtual cycling. And they were just like, okay, let's join a gym. And so we did that every day. And I had lost about 80 pounds at that point on my own, just doing that and looking at a moderate lifestyle in regards to diet. And everything was going great. And I was at the point now where I was just like, I don't need this surgery. I'm good, right? I could do this now. And then my mom passed. And so my mom died when she was in her early to mid 60s. My dad had died when he was in his early 60s. And I was having a conversation with my wife, and we had the realization that when my parents were my age, they didn't have the comorbidities that I had, right? I was on 15 different medications. I was on, I had high blood pressure. I was pre-diabetic. I had high cholesterol. I had hypertrophic cardiomyopathy. I had severe sleep apnea. I was on numerous different pain meds because of my herniated discs in my back. I was a mess. And so knowing that my parents didn't have any of those comorbidities, we know there's a correlation, right? It's not like, after you turn 37, everything gets better and better, right? And so, I said, if my parents died early 60s and I'm 37 and I have all these things going wrong, how much time do I actually have left, right? And I was thinking, we did some napkin math, and I was just like, okay, so, with the math, maybe I have like 20 years at this point. And how many more years do my kids want to spend time with me? They're young, but then they're going to be teens, and then they're going to be like, yeah, I'm not going to hang out with dad. He's not cool, though I'm pretty cool. And, so I was just like, I have maybe 5, 6, 7 years with my kids. And I've already wasted about 6 of them because, again, I haven't been able to do anything with them. And so that was at the point where I was just like, where I was sort of teeter-tottering on whether I was going to have the surgery, that I decided, yes, I'm having the surgery, because it's not even about losing the weight. It's about keeping it off and maintaining this lifestyle for my kids and for my family. And so that's what I did. I had the surgery and I sort of just went with it. And, I started, and the whole idea for me was that mindset, the whole idea that be grateful for what you have, be grateful for the journey and the opportunity you have to get your life back. And my wife, even, I think it was like 6 months in, she was just like, you've lost 100 pounds numerous times and gained it all back. And you hated every single day of your life because you were dieting and you didn't like the food and you were exercising. She was like, 6 months in, you haven't complained once. Why? And I said, I know what I'm fighting for. I know I have a reason why I'm doing everything. And my approach to it was all under the understanding that I was just grateful for this opportunity to get better. And so, yeah, everything has gone so well. I also take this opportunity to challenge myself every year because I haven't been able to do so much. I missed my 30s, right? And so a lot of it is with physical activity. First year was like, okay, I'm going to do a triathlon. So I did a triathlon. And the second year it was just like, okay, well, I play pickleball. I'm just like, I'm going to learn pickleball and get really good, and I'm going to start competing. And I won bronze at the provincials, which is like your state level, right? And then this year, I'm just like, okay, well, what else can I do? And so this year, I'm competing in a transformation bodybuilding competition in June. And for me, like, again, it comes down to why we do the podcast. It's because when I was going through that, when I was at that point where I was just like, I don't know what to do, it would have been great for me to see this person, me now, and be like, holy shit, if that guy can do that, like, I can do that. And the amount of people, and this is, at the JBY Awards and through numerous other avenues, the amount of people who have contacted me and talked to me about how what I'm doing has really motivated them to try to do something different, that's with bariatric surgery or not, has been overwhelming. And I think there's so much power with us sharing our stories with everyone. So whether it's with us, whether it's you guys, I really do commend everything that we are doing and sharing this. And my key takeaway when it comes to bariatric surgery is at some point it can't be about the number, right? Obviously that's what we look at first. That's the metric. But I think the thing that's always kept me going and made this easy for me, because I can't say that this has been super, super hard. Like, obviously, have there been challenges? Yes. But I've always maintained that the goal for bariatric surgery should be, or at least it was for me, happiness. Because will that lower number make me happy? Sure. Will being able to play with my kids make me happy? Sure. All these little things can lead to your happiness, but I don't want that number that changes with the amount of carbs I eat or the amount of salt I eat or the amount of water I eat and can fluctuate not even daily, but hourly to dictate my my happiness. I want the way I feel to dictate the relationships I've built, my impact on the world to impact my happiness. And so I just think that we all have such a great opportunity that we're given to sort of get our lives back. And so always happy to share this with everyone.
Quick pause here. I've had moments on my GLP-1 journey where insurance changes or rising costs force me to look for a new provider. And honestly, that process can feel very overwhelming. But that's why the Plus Sides podcast has partnered with GLP Winner to give our subscribers a resource to help them make that decision easier. GLP Winner is a comparison platform that lets you explore telehealth providers in all 50 states, whether you're looking for brand name medications or compounded options. You can see pricing up front, read reviews, and get a clear picture of which provider might align best with your needs. Check it out today at glpwinner.com/plus-sides. That's glpwinner.com/plus-sides. Don't forget the Z. Let me tell you a quick story. I was telling Kat how I was regaining weight after my 100-pound loss using GLP-1 medications, and I was having snacky cravings and waking up at 3 a.m., and I had hot flashes, and I was worried. But Kat was like, listen, I went through this last year. It's perimenopause, and I started HRT, and she used this company called Winona. So I started going there to see if this was something that was going with me. Turns out it was, because I'm 46. And it's been amazing. It's taken a while to find the right dose, but once I did, it's just been huge. I've been sleeping. I feel more myself again. And the hot flashes are gone, which is really bad. So I will tell you, it's just been so big for me. And so I wanted to partner with them on the podcast because obviously many of our listeners are going through the same age range and definitely are having these issues. And there's just no need for you to suffer. So if you go to the link that's in our link tree, you can click on that and save money. If you go there and you meet all the criteria, and this might be something for you to try. So I just want to make sure you had this great resource because it's just been such a big difference for me and Kat. Again, you can go to the link in our link tree and get what you need.
"20 seconds a week to lose 20% of your weight in a year with diet and exercise. That's the power of GLP-1s through Ro. Ro helps find the medication that's right for you, based on cost, availability, and your weight loss goals. Losing weight with GLP-1s is possible through Ro.
That's awesome. Yeah, I'm definitely of that mind too, but I wouldn't say I always was. I feel like when I started, all of the time, whenever I did anything, whenever I had the lap band surgery or the medicine, I legitimately was like, I just need to lose weight. I just need to lose weight. I couldn't even think past that because none of it really seemed possible.
Yeah.
Because I'd never really accomplished it before. So it was really difficult. So it would have been great if I had seen someone like you. So I love that you're doing what you're doing because I do think that's really helpful. I can tell you in terms of what happened with your back, and I probably have a different thing, but I don't think anybody understands how bad back pain is. And I have hurt many, many things. I have never had when I hurt my back and then I had to get friggin' nerve blocks and all these different things like that. I was such a jerk. I was not a good wife. I was not a good friend. I was not a good mother. I just, like you said, all I could think about was the pain, and it is, and honestly, oddly enough, that is how I ended up on GLPs. I went
Yeah.
and tried to get my back in a better situation so I could start moving again, and then ended up taking GLPs because I went and like bit the bullet, if you will, and
Sure.
got all the blood work done and saw my doctor, and then I didn't want to, and
Yeah.
and all of that kind of changed. It's interesting because like if you can't move, it does make you just want to give up on all the things,
Yeah.
even the things that you can try to be present for. So I hope nobody ever has to feel
Oh, I know.
like even the people who are my like worst enemies, which doesn't exist. I would never want anybody to feel
Mhm.
that. It's awful. And I've had plenty of things, like
Yeah.
lots of pain, like an ingrown toenail even is like a second to back pain.
It's up there.
Okay.
It's up there. I'm telling you.
Well, you got to use your feet a lot, so it's probably
Sure.
pretty painful.
Yeah. When you did the when you were saying you started doing the like virtual cycle, was that like with Peloton, or did you guys have something different?
So it's similar to Peloton. So it wasn't as much of a class. It was sort of like, how in gyms they used to have like the spin bikes and then they'd have a big screen and then you'd choose something. It's like riding on a road. So we would go, and there was a whole bunch of us. There's like 4 or 5 of us, and we would take over that area. But then we would start meeting people who were just like, oh, what are you guys doing? And then we ended up having big groups of like 10, 15 people who would just come to ride with us. And we'd be the ones sort of like in the middle of the gym yelling to encourage each other to just keep going. And I have pictures of us when we first started it. And when I was, at this point, I was still like 300 and, 50, 60, 70 pounds at this point. And it was just so awesome to see how supportive everyone was for everyone taking part. And so that's the only reason I'm still at that gym. We don't even have those bikes anymore. But I still go because like everyone was so supportive. So
it's quite a community. Yeah. I'm a cycle bar fanatic. I'm sure you have cycle bars in Toronto, right?
Yeah, for sure. Oh yeah.
Our community is
It's
great.
great. I love it. We started actually. So a big part of it was like, once I had the surgery, my main thing was like, can I get back to cycling? And so we got to the point where we were cycling every weekend. We do like 100 kilometers every day after work, 30 to 50 kilometers. And it was just like our thing. And luckily, good and bads to COVID is one thing. It gave us the ability to do that and to commit that time to it. But the bad part is, as we know, with bariatric surgery, you can't eat a lot. Right. And so energy was also a concern, but muscle loss was a big concern. So I looked back at what I looked like back then when all I was doing is cycling. And in my head back then, I was like, yeah, I'm good. I lost all this weight. I'm skinnier. I'm strong. I'm good. And I was full out skin and bones, like literally skin and bones. And so that was one big reason why, like for me, weight training and putting on muscle and the importance of muscle mass is so big for me. Right.
Yeah.
I gotta have my profit before I go ride.
There you go.
Profit time.
I have to. Yeah, I get it. I have to weight train at home because cycle bar is expensive.
Yeah. There are.
Yeah.
But anyway.
Kat they're her non-negotiables, her cycle bear. She's like, even with doing the podcast, she's like, I don't think you understand. I am unavailable.
Unavailable between 9:30 and 10:30 a.m.
Yeah.
I heard that your husband, on one of the other episodes, that your husband will kind of give you you probably need to go work out. I heard you say that, like if you're getting kind of like you haven't been in a little while and you're kind of getting cranky.
I think you need to go work out. Leave me alone.
That's awesome.
Yeah. That's great. Well, it's so cool. Like to have you guys here and be able to share stories. I think I really, really wanted people to see is like these intersections, these commonalities, right? That this disease can be treated. And luckily we have good ways now, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
And what I'd like to do is invite on a guest that you guys brought and ask him to talk about these ways and how they're different and how they're alike. And we can all learn together and maybe grow some too.
Yeah.
Hi, Dr.
Hello. How are you, Dr. Fridley?
I'm good. Hello.
We're so glad to have you here.
I saw you wave your hand about back pain, so you went through it too.
Oh yes, I have several slip disc and standing and operating for several hours a day.
Yeah,
definitely plays a role in it. Actually, today I went to the chiropractor and got adjusted. Helps me kind of maintain.
I just missed my chiropractic appointment. I always do yesterday. And now I need to stop skipping it. So
Yeah, I need to reschedule. I haven't gone in a while, really, since all the lap band stuff. And I feel it. My neck is like, gotta go and get that thing they do where you feel like you're like just died, but then you're like, realize
God,
that you're
it feels so
alive
good.
again.
Then you're reborn.
It felt so
You're
good.
like, wait a second.
Oh, it feels so good. I love it. Yes. My chiropractor is like, you're nuts. No. It feels good.
I'm not gonna lie though, one of my favorite like guilty pleasures is watching people that are getting an adjustment and fart on the internet. Like
That's
Ooh,
very
I can't
specific.
and
All
fart
right.
also.
Oh yeah,
Awesome.
well,
Not just crack,
no,
crack and fart.
I have an 11-year-old boy,
Yeah, release the
and
gas.
it's his
right?
fault. It's his fault. He I'm telling you, I blame him. 11-year-old boys. There's nothing more funny than farts. Okay, so
Dinosaur monkey
so-
fart.
True.
yeah, that's why my name is Dinosaur Monkey Farts, because the 11-year-old, but he
Mhm.
wasn't 11 at the time, but still to this day, farts. It's funny. I'll send you clips later.
It's true. All of our conversations usually like come to farts, poop, like
Yeah.
if
Periods.
it's not, periods,
Period.
all of it.
Bodily
Yeah.
Cycles.
functions.
Yeah, it's like
Mhm.
Sounds like the
Dr.
Yeah,
Fridley,
exactly.
if you could tell us a little bit about who you are and how you help people, that would be great.
I'm Dr. Fridley. I'm the owner of Surgical Associates at Bayonet Point, and I'm a general and bariatric surgeon. So I perform a lot of the surgeries that you guys are talking about. And that's the biggest way I think I help, but also I think that having a good understanding of my patients and knowing that it's not just the surgery, that's the smallest piece of all of it, and just being kind of a very versatile and put myself out there so that people know that we have in our practice, it's the whole patient is what's important. So that's been our focus at Surgical Associates.
So speaking of surgery versus GLP, on our podcast, we explore this a lot with obesity specialists, endocrinologists, and bariatric surgeons, like specifically. We go into everything. We talk to dietitians, cognitive behavioral therapists, like all these different things. But that being said, one surgeon that was on our show the first season said, that, and a lot of people we're in season 3 now. So a lot of people may not know, but he was sort of explaining about how they discovered like GLP and sort of the power of it, and how it was affected in surgery, and how sort of the idea of that is how these medications were sort of reverse engineered and born. And I think it'll be really cool if you could talk with us about that.
I mean, from basic extent, we've known about GLP-1s for about 15 years before they were ever out for, pharmaceutical studies. But it's been of our knowledge to know what GLP-1 did and what that receptor did. And, there's PYY, there's so many, CCK, there's so many that go into that, which we didn't know anything about until the early 50s when it was post-World War II, and we started to actually do a little bit more about nutrition. And we were doing a lot of actually feline studies and canine studies that basically started to boost up and started to understand the digestive system a little bit more. And that's when we started kind of digging into these different hormones playing a role. And even with our mice, good old Obi-Wan is the most famous mouse there is, I think, in the obesity community. Not just because he's the connections with Star Wars, but
close to Mickey Mouse. I feel like
right.
They're pretty close.
So it was 15 years ago that we actually identified these hormones, but then being able to synthesize a analog or peptide close to it, and then analyze what that was doing. And we're even digging into, I think there's a different class that's going to be coming, or it's already out, but it's getting trials now. And that's very similar to like the Gila monster. It's the venom of a Gila monster is basically what that does. And it has the same exact effect as GLP-1 agonist.
Wow.
So it's been for a while.
Yeah.
I can't say that surgery was the one who brought it to light. This has been in the background for decades.
That's fascinating.
Fascinating.
You said post World War II, so you're like in the 50s?
50s and 60s, or 50s,
when we
early
started
50s
studying
is when we
nutrition
started
and yeah.
So
we
about
have a lot of
time we all
equations
started
that they
getting
use
fat.
a lot of equations they use in nutrition for calculating your basal metabolic rate, and where that all came from is a surplus of GIs that we had after World War II. We started locking them in rooms and doing calorimetrics to basically see how much energy just to sit there and do nothing. How much would it increase the temperature of the room? It's quite fascinating.
Yeah,
That's
that is
really
fascinating.
interesting.
Very.
I learned something. Well, I learned more than just something new every podcast episode.
Yeah, we learned so much. Yeah.
Yeah. Is it too late to go back to school for?
Yeah, it is. Yeah. Although I would suck. I like all I do is like what I do for a living, y'all that don't know me in the real world, is I take very complicated things and I try to make them like digestible, right? Like this is what it means really. Like, you know, to somebody who's not a medical professional, which is really just what I do on the podcast. You know what I mean? So it's the same thing. Because there's so many people like me who we don't speak that language, you know? So we need help. So yeah. So thank you for that. Go ahead, Kat.
Cool.
Sorry.
You're fine. So this is these are the things that I think about. What sort of bariatric surgeries do you do that are non-surgical? I just said bariatric surgery, non-surgical.
Non-surgical?
Is that really a term or?
It's a very gray area
It
because
is.
I think anything that requires, a
Surgery?
specialist, it's,
Yeah.
surgery.
Okay. Okay. That's so like or Bara, is that a non-surgical?
Yeah, Obera is one of the that's one of the gastric balloons that we actually offer, and that's a nice little device where you can place a inflatable balloon into the stomach, and it's done with a simple endoscopy where we give you some medication to where you sleep for maybe about 15 minutes, and then we can put the scope down through the mouth into the stomach and directly fill this with saline. And then it expands in the stomach and basically maintains volume so that you always have the sensation of a full stomach. Now, you'll still be able to eat, but the volume that you eat will be less because those stretch receptors are constantly being triggered. And so those have downstream hormonal effects that actually trigger the brain and work on this thing called the gut-brain axis and helps your brain identify that you're full even though you didn't actually consume that much. And it's usually left in for about 3 months. And during that 3-month time frame is when the nutritional counseling and the behavioral counseling is taking its maximum effect. And then after the 6-month period, we remove it and then see how you fare from there to maintain.
Yeah.
And that's the biggest hurdle, I think, with anything, whether it's medication, surgery, or balloons or non-surgical weight loss measure. It's the the behavioral changes. It's how do we get those? Because unfortunately, there are people in the community who want a quick fix, and they look at surgery as a quick fix. Now, they're educated real quick, but I think it's important to know that the reason why it works is because it works quickly up front. Yeah. And then you can let the behaviors kind of build up to that point.
Yeah. I think that's interesting. So a couple things. I will tell you, I would love a quick fix. So if that is available somewhere, I will take it. Hands down. So I'm not any better than anybody else, just for the record. I want it to be quick too. I'm okay with it now that I'm learning, right? But I am okay with it. So in terms of like the different types of surgeries, right? So we've heard a lot about, sleeve versus like gastric bypass. And then you're kind of mentioning these other procedures. I don't think they do lap band very much anymore, likely because of things that like happen with me. People have had like erosion and band slippage and things like that. But at least that's what we've learned. If I'm wrong, please correct me.
No, I just took out one today.
Oh yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. Yeah. But I think it would be, I was curious about is the one you were talking about. These things sound really great, but like you're talking about like 3 months and 6 months and behavior changes and all of that. But how often is that successful? Like how often do people not have to come back and end up getting sleeve, or end up getting gastric bypass?
It's variable.
Or on a GLP1.
Yeah, it depends on which resource you look at. I mean,
Yeah.
the GLP-1s are great because they're the least invasive in mind. You give yourself a
Yeah.
weekly injection, and then you can get about 15% of your body weight loss with that. And it's sustainable as long as you're on the medication. The biggest downside to the GLP-1 is, of course, that when you come off the medication or becomes the availability drops, which has been a huge problem across the nation, or the price, because the availability drops and then everyone wants to raise the price because demand is so high. And the issue there is that when you have to come off of it, whether you choose to or whether you're forced to, the weight can come back rather quickly. Then you merge over to like the gastric balloons and the endoscopic sleeve gastrectomies. Those actually offer about 20 to 25% weight loss with the medications, or excuse me, with those procedures. And again, they have a little bit more longevity of the weight loss staying off because there's no medications intertwined with them. And then when you go to the surgical, the bypasses, vertical sleeves or CADs, stuff like that, it can be anywhere from 25 to 35 or even higher percent body weight loss. So there's a lot out there for sure. You guys are touching on that, and you know we don't. Unfortunately, there's a lot of primary cares who are not that aware, and that's been one of my big focus and regionally is to be able to educate them as much as possible to say like, hey, there's a lot more out there and it's safe. So
That's nice that you do that.
One of the things I'll mention too, because this is something that surprised me when I was looking into getting surgery myself, I always thought that having weight loss surgery was for the purpose of just getting so I would eat less. That's, I think, a kind of common thought. And it wasn't until I think it was a bariatric surgeon, I don't remember who now, but I heard that it was an actual metabolic reset. I don't know if Dr. Fridley, if you can explain that a little bit better, but I think that's a really common misconception that I know I didn't understand until going through the process.
Sure. The process or the idea is that you can have restrictive procedures such as the lap band, where they can decrease the amount of food that you can intake. And that will help change your behaviors, is the fact that you're consuming less, and therefore that becomes your new norm. Now that's what we call restrictive. And the sleeve gastrectomy still kind of falls into that as being primarily a restrictive procedure. But then we get into the SADI procedures, OAGBs, and the Roux-en-Y gastric bypasses. Several different surgeries where we're actually changing the architecture of the intestinal tract so that it causes malabsorption. And that's when we get into the metabolic aspects. Then when we started digging further into the sleeve, after we'd had so much success with it, we started digging in and realizing that actually the speed at which things were leaving the stomach was changing the pH downstream. And that change in pH was actually changing your what's called microbiome, and thereby did indeed have a small effect of malabsorption or metabolic surgery component to it. And so that's where we kind of think of when someone comes in the office, do we need to just lose weight, or do we really have a myriad of symptoms and comorbidities that really need a metabolic surgery? And that's going to determine which surgery we plan for.
Yeah. Fascinating. I'm curious about, so in terms of certain people that have gastric sleeve and then they have, or any of the surgeries, and then they have regain, is there an explanation for why that happens? And if and when that does happens, do you ever prescribe a GLP-1 for those patients?
Oh, absolutely. I don't know if you've had many surgeons on there who kind of challenge the system, but the typical dogma right now is that we try to do the GLP-1s early on and try to get weight loss that way before we go to surgery. And I've actually posed the question to some of the chief scientists with the pharmaceutical companies to say, you guys never really researched the gut-brain axis and the neuroreceptors on how GLP-1 is acting on the brain, because I'm going to really nerd out here, but GLP-1 agonists are actually G ligand proteins, and those, when they go to the brain, should actually downregulate the amount of receptors you have on those brain for those to trigger. So for me, it made sense that if I did a surgery that decreased those receptors, because you have direct effect on GLP-1 from a sleeve, let's say a sleeve gastrectomy, and you're affecting ghrelin, you're affecting leptin levels, you would have a downregulation of those receptors in the brain, so that if they ever did have weight regain or weight recidivism, you could hit them with a GLP-1 agonist and it would take less amount to have more profound effect. And to me, I right now wholeheartedly believe that that's where I can get the biggest bang, is to do a surgery on someone, get them to, literally throw them into the deep end and say, we're going to teach you how to swim. And then when they are struggling, we can talk about the nutrition, we can talk about the psychology, all the things that they're struggling on a piece by piece basis. But even after that, we can still help them with a medication that'll help bring it through, blast through a plateau or whatever to kind of keep them going.
Yeah. Have you ever given somebody a GLP in like maybe they come in and they're in the 500, 600, 700 pounds, and to get them started and then try surgery after that, maybe get them a better place?
Most of the people who come in that category are already maxed out they're already on therapeutic doses. And that's a testament to the pharmaceutical companies getting back out to the primary cares.
Yeah.
But I have no problem doing that. It's just actually what's been happening is they're coming to me kind of already been on the medication for a year and not having significant results.
Okay.
I see that.
Interesting.
When we've had conversations with other patients on our podcast about people who've had bariatric surgery and that food noise is gone. It's wiped out for a while for them, and they're moving right along. And then there's a certain point that happens for them when it comes back. Why does the food noise return? Can you help explain that for us?
I can't be certain, because food noise is a psychological phenomenon. Yeah. And what I tend to see is between the months of 6 and 9 after surgery is when we really see this. And it coincides with typical plateaus. And usually it goes around negative connotations. And this is just my perception, negative connotations of, they failed so many diets before. And then when they're hit with the surgery, they have such success so rapidly that they're in the positive. Their psyche is very positive until they hit their first plateau.
Yeah.
And when you hit the plateau, you're like, what am I doing wrong? This is a failure. I'm a failure. We're back to the same negative cycle again. And here comes the noise. And here comes the bad habits again. And so usually, why it comes back is different for every single individual. But I find that if you can get them in that 6 to 9 month time frame, and we typically have our nutritionists see them again, let's just fine tune, make sure we know what you're doing. And then body composition scans, because I guarantee them that even though they're walking in thinking that they're a failure, it's just because of your pull on gravity. It has nothing to do with what's actually happening.
I love that.
And when you put them on a body composition scanner, which they did pre-op, and then again on their 3-month post-op visit, then I can show them, it's like, yes, your weight is, you dropped 2 pounds, but that was 17 pounds of fat, but you gained 15 pounds of muscle.
Yeah.
And I can prove it.
Okay.
And so that's where I break through the psychological aspect and I flip the script, and this is no longer a negative connotation. Now you have real success and real numbers. So keep moving forward.
Yeah, that's awesome. I love that. Your pull on gravity. That's a short. We'll be making that a short.
That's going to be famous. Pull on gravity.
Yeah. I was just gonna
definitely psychological. I can definitely relate to that. My life on the stall, my life between the 6 pounds up and down for the whole year of 2023. But so I totally get it. I just keep
Go ahead,
saying,
Shay. Sorry.
Oh no, I was just going to say, speaking about that psychological piece, I know something that in the weight loss surgery community we talk about a lot too that could be contributing to this is, like you said, Kim, like you don't know what it's, or this is the first time you've been in a smaller body, like for the first time. And that's the majority of us as well, where it's like, this is the smallest I've been as an adult for sure. And, around high school age. And so it's just interesting because the psychological piece is still there that we're working through. And it's very, it's just a big process. Sorry, I'm like losing my train of thought. Dr. Fridley was saying this is where my ADD kicks in. I know. I think what I thought is that once I lost all the weight, that my problems would be solved, right?
Yeah.
It's like, that's what I've been trying to do for so long to get there, is once I lose the weight, I'll be good and I won't have any other problems anymore. And then when you reach your goal or even close to it or surpass that goal weight or whatever it is, it's kind of like, whoa, now what? Because I had never had the opportunity to get there before. So I don't know if that contributes to that food noise piece. That is an interesting component where it's like, now that I'm here, newsflash, like problems don't go away when you lose all of the weight. Yeah. There's just more to kind of sort through. And so that's something that was a harsh reality for me.
Yeah. I sort of also look at it. Oh, sorry. Go on, Dr. Fridley.
I was just saying, in our practice, we try not to actually set a goal weight for that reason, because what happens when you don't meet it, but you have gained significant muscle mass, and everyone fixates on a number, and the number has no meaning whatsoever. Yeah. It's overall health, and that's psychological. That is your weight. That is your metabolic system. But if you're coming in, you're down 7 medications, and I'm just scratching through your medical list of all these things that you're taking, and I was like, you're a success story regardless of what your weight is. Right. So setting goals is always important for day-to-day life, but an actual number can be dangerous. So it's like it just shoot for stuff that's off the scale. Those are the important ones.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I think that's hard sometimes. I think that's hard sometimes for people with obesity, especially if you're on a GLP, because of like being on a maintenance dose. Like the BMI is still what they use to be able to gauge things. So if you drop too low, then that, you know what I'm saying? Like that's the thing. And it's kind of crazy because like the point is to get low and not get back up, but it's hard for us. I mean, if anything, I would say that in the community on TikTok, the GLP community, people, I don't do it, but a lot of people, the only reason I don't is because I'm weird. My everything fluctuates so significantly, like weight, like daily, pounds and pounds, so it's not real. It's just arbitrary to me, but I had to weigh every day to realize that was straight trash. But many people are like, I'm down a pound, I'm down a pound and a half, I'm down 2 pounds, I'm down 3 pounds, like every week, like, so when they don't see that scale move, people panic. They really do. I see it every time. And how do I break a stall? You wait, how do you, the waiting table, how do you, what do you do? You just sit with it. You know what I mean? And you do what you can do. You maybe increase your calories, maybe increase your protein, but like, it's just going to happen. It's so hard. And people say, what do I do? What do I do? Because the answer is, I don't know. Like, I just kind of wait it out,
So the way I think about a stall is if you're going to plateau, that's your body fighting you doing the right thing.
Yeah.
That's the way to look at it. So whatever you're doing is doing the right thing, and your body is fighting you vigorously like it has its entire life to maintain your current set weight, that set point. Yeah. So if you weren't doing anything, you would be just maintaining or gaining. But since you are on the losing end, your body is fighting back hard, but it has only limited resources. Mm-hmm. And eventually, if you keep on that track, it will break through on its own.
Yeah. Awesome. Yeah. It's a hard thing to accept. I remember when I kept hitting stalls and plateaus. I mean, and mine were like, a few weeks at a time. It wasn't even like a real one, I did hit a 3-monther. That was brutal. And I remember during that time, like seeing everyone around me, it was so hard not to compare my journey. Sure. Right. But I was seeing everybody around me, like bam, 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 and then me being like the same. Right. And then I remember going, okay, like, let's just take a step back. Right. And I was like, let's just say I don't lose anymore. let's just say, right? Would I still take this medicine forever as a sick person that needs medicine? And the answer was as long as I can get it, right? And that's because of my inflammation reduction, the food noise reduction, my obsessive anxiety, and all of these different like benefits. And then of course, with the weight loss and with all of those things, metabolically, everything, like I just was free from food. So I was like, hell yeah. Right. And so that's what it was like, for me, but you have to sort of talk yourself through that, and I felt like with the medicine, I could actually do those, I don't know, like mental aerobics, mental gymnastics, where I could be like, pause and think and consider and all those things. I didn't have that ability before. That my brain did not work like that, and I can't help but wonder if it's just because I had this deficit. Like, I don't know the sciencey, but that's what it was like for me, and so I think as long as I'm feeling good, and it's I don't care that much about the scale. I really don't. The only time I worry about it is when somebody says to me, "Are you still losing?" Right? How are you? You look great. Are you still losing? First of all, shut up. But they're curious, right? Like, I don't know why we have to talk about people's bodies like that, but people do. It's a very open for them to like discuss things, even if they're your close family. And I don't like that that's okay in our culture, but it is. People are fascinated by if you can lose a lot of weight, or if you're on these medicines, or if you have a podcast about them, but in general, I don't know, like even with surgery, do you guys feel like you had that, like where you would get to a certain weight and technically it probably still looked like you were overweight, where they would be like, are you still losing, if they hadn't seen you for a while?
Yeah, I think everyone. Yeah, I think everyone. That's. I think that's a big part of the journey, and as you had mentioned, it's a big part of our culture, right? Especially if it's a tough thing, because if people are aware that you've taken that step and the initiative to do something big like surgery or medication to get to your health weight, or a healthy weight, or whatever the case might be, whether it's a goal or not, then 100% it's tough, because people feel like it's free reign for them to ask things like that.
Like when you're open about it, it's like, oh, this is free.
And I guess sometimes it's tough, because sure, we may have put ourselves in that position to have that discussion, and sometimes we welcome that discussion, but sometimes it's not always the most appropriate question. And I was having this conversation. I met with the other peer mentors that at the hospital I'm at, and we're having all these discussions similar to what we're having right now. And one discussion we talked about was, with your family, right? How were you treated? Were you treated differently with your family before and after surgery, before you lost the weight and after? And I was specifically talking about one experience I've had with someone, because they were Asian, and that's a big reason why I'm paired up with certain people, because culturally it's very different, and so it's interesting to see how Asian families treat you before and sort of your worth and value, and then afterwards how that completely changes. And it sort of gets us to resent the people, because it's just like, well, I still have a lot of value, and I've always had that value, but now you guys see it so much more, and it really puts perspective into everyone else around us, and sort of the way that they feel like it's a okay thing to sort of just bring these things up. So it's an interesting.
It is. It's
such a journey. I'm thinking of. It's true. Like it's such a journey thing.
It really is, and it's kind of never ending. Like we've had people. One person in particular that was on the show. He has type 2 diabetes. He's lost his weight. He's kind of in maintenance. He's been doing these like shate things that we do. And he made a video and he was like, is this sort of like the end now? Because like, I don't really know. And I'm like, this is a forever thing. Like I think that people forget, like you don't cure obesity. There's not a cure for it. Like it's a constant thing we have to deal with. So we have to continue to support each other and be there. And we don't have to have shop videos. Like our journeys can evolve and be different things, because that's the whole point, right? We all want to be, I would say not different, but better,
Sure.
Like I think sick people want to get better, and I think that's okay, whether that's physically, mentally, or both.
So it's not the end for him. It makes me think of that Carpenter song. I won't sing it. We've only just begun.
Oh gosh,
Everybody knows
that's
it.
such
Look
a
at
good
you
one.
all smiling.
That's such a good one.
I caught it. I love the Carpenters. They're
I
the
do
best
too. I do
Christmas
too.
album ever. I
Oh,
listened to
yeah.
it in
Oh my
like
God.
November.
Yeah.
That was
That's my
Wynton
favorite.
Marsalis for me for my Christmas album.
Oh,
But
really?
we will go on a tangent, and I'm
Sure,
sure
we will.
good.
Yeah, usually pop culture tangent, and it's all Kat's fault.
Just don't start singing Prince or else.
No, do
Oh,
start.
She will start singing Prince. She does it often. She'll just go, "Oh!" out of nowhere, and I'm
Yes.
like,
I like it.
Okay, I am restraining myself.
"You're doing a great job."
Can I add one more little piece to
yeah, of
that
course,
too?
yeah.
Because I think one of the things that I've been surprised about too in kind of this weight loss surgery community is that diet culture still exists within that too. And so I think, as you're tracking your weight, it's like you can still have disordered eating and disordered ways of looking at things even after you've had weight loss surgery. That doesn't go away. And so just something to be cautious of too, because it's very easy when you've been trying to lose weight your whole life. Like even for me, I've had to go, oh, I guess this is more of my maintenance mode of like, maybe this is just where my body wants to be at right now. And then it's like, usually I can track certain triggers of like the new year starting where that was always a, what's the next diet I'm going to do? What am I going to do? And so then my head gets in that mindset of like, oh, I need to be doing more. I'm not doing enough. And it's like, no, like my body is feeling really good where it's at. But it's a constant battle even after you lose the weight because your mind has been trained to think of things in that way. So again, somebody who's considering surgery or who's in that process, like it's still hard after, unfortunately. I wish it was just an easy fix, but it's still hard.
Me too.
One thing I will say,
Go
sorry,
Kat.
No, go ahead.
we were talking about the food noise thing, and I think, I always compare it to sort of like, you're a high school kid or you're at home and whatever the case might be. And then you go away for college and it's just like, oh shoot, now I have freedom. It's party time. And like, we are so restrictive with bariatric surgery. And then we get to a certain point where we have the ability to eat a bit more and a little bit more, and we're able to exercise and we're hungrier and we're able to do more. And I think oftentimes that's when the food noise starts coming back for people. And whenever I talk with people who are very early on in the process, I always, tell people, it's great. All these things are going to happen. It's great. You're getting back to closer to what you could do before, which also means that you can also enjoy some of the foods that you had previously. Like this is not about, you can't have anything like this. Like I thought that I couldn't have any of these foods ever again. I had a funeral for all the foods that I had. I had a last summer.
The mourning period, like,
oh my God, right? Like you had all that, but like it shouldn't be about that. And again, like if you can keep that into consideration and really look at your sort of relationship with the food and work on it. Like I know I'm still an emotional eater, but my thing that I do differently is, if I'm having a really, really like when I hurt my back the last time, I am, I can't walk anymore. I'm training like crazy, but now I can't walk. Yeah. And my emotions are going nuts. I'm all over the place.
Of course they are.
And, obviously food is one of the things that sort of come into my mind.
Yeah. And
I think it's easy to go, I know old Rob would be like, we're binging the shit out of this and it's going to go for a long time. We're going to go on a binge vacation. And the way I sort of approach it now, because I feel like I need to allow myself to process the way I need to process.
Sure.
So with me, I'm just like, okay, well, I'm going to let myself eat poorly for today or today and tomorrow, depending on how big the thing I'm dealing with. But then come tomorrow or come, Monday,
right,
I'm done. I did what I needed to do. I processed the way I need to process. I didn't run away from it. And now I'm back on track going to what my goal is. Right. Yeah, and I find that people, what worked for me, and I know what's worked with a lot of people that I talk to is don't shy away from that. Right. Like none of this is about shying away from anything or completely changing. It's just looking at it through a different lens.
Yeah.
Right. That's why it's so huge for these, if you have like binge eating or any eating disorders, that they're well hidden and they can have such small cues that even when you go for your psychological evaluation before surgery, they get missed. But and a lot of times they get missed. But that's why it's important to just really get comfortable with yourself before the surgery, so that no matter the outcome, you're just going to be okay.
Yeah.
And I love what you said. That's perfect, because you just have to, you allow yourself to be human.
Yeah.
Just allow yourself. You spent your entire life being beaten down.
Mm-hmm.
You don't need to be tough on yourself. Give yourself a break. You'll be okay at the end.
And that's the thing with like people with obesity. I would say, like, just from what I've learned from them, is that like nobody ever gives us a break. Like that's the thing.
We
It's
don't
like,
give ourselves a break.
no,
We're the
and
worst to
therefore
ourselves.
we don't.
We're the ones who
Yeah,
give us the worst ourselves.
that's so true.
You guys
I
kind
think
of answered the question I had. I was like,
Yeah.
what do you use because we all have trauma. We all have, a lot of us have binge eating disorder, just, eating disorders. And so my question was like, what sort of things do you need to kind of work on before you take the bariatric step?
The best thing to do is to own it.
Yeah.
Own it and accept it. And then basically, because you'll never ignore it. You'll never be able to just skip over that, because it'll come back at some point.
Yeah.
So you just need to own it, carry it. That's your baggage. You just carry it and you work with it. Just no different than I have brown hair.
Okay. So it never goes away, kind of, don't say, oh, poof, it's magic, I'm done.
Yeah.
No.
And so the sooner that you accept it and own it and say, hey, this is just a piece of the puzzle that is me, then that's the only way that you can really make true change, is because then you'll be happy with making small changes because you knew exactly where you were before.
Yeah.
And that's why it's felt so empowering to learn that obesity is a disease. And that's why we're on the waiting table. We're very cognizant about framing it in that way, because before I just thought I was a horrible person who didn't have self-control. That wasn't true. Different things contribute to the symptoms of obesity, but obesity is a disease. And so, that means I'm not a terrible person with no self-control. It's like, no, I have this disease and different things help it. Different things make it worse. And just because I've lost the majority of my excess weight doesn't mean I don't have obesity anymore. I will always have the disease of obesity. And there are treatment options that if I start to gain weight again or have issues, I can look at those other options, which is so cool and empowering.
Very cool. Hashtag zepbound.
There you go.
Very empowering.
Low dose. I have a hot take, and I feel like because of time, we can probably end on the hot take.
Let's go.
So now that this is controversial, now that I have had surgery, and obviously mine is different, like it's not metabolic, right? And then also now had medication that makes metabolic changes, mimics them, maybe is better. I don't think there's such a thing as bad habits. I think it's just a symptom of a disease. I'll tell you what. I didn't know anything going into this. I didn't know shit. I went to a PCP. They put me on Saxenda. I started taking it. What the hell was going on? My butt was exploding. I didn't know what was going on. And that's because I didn't know how to take it and how to manage my side effects, because I didn't have a doctor that knew any of that stuff either. Right. And so therefore there was no fear. Like I was just going into this going, okay, and it's something else. Why not? It's creeping on the next year. I got to do my diet culture thing, where I figure out what diet I'm going on next, and when I started to have things change in my brain, it wasn't about the not hungry. It was that I didn't even want the things that I had used to want. I didn't have let me run through McDonald's and order 5 things and eat them all and then want more fries later. And then also that would like be perpetual. Like that would happen then, because the sugar, right? And the next day, the next day, the next day. I feel like I need to keep doing it until I got in the cycle. I don't do that anymore. That's not a thing. I can't change it because it doesn't exist. So for me, I've been more like building on things that are just better habits, maybe habits that I think are a little more positive and a little bit more like moving my body or finding new recipes or, doing things within my community on TikTok, starting a podcast, whatever it is, right? Like just using that energy in different ways. But I really think it doesn't make sense for me. And I've asked other people too, like, do you have these habits anymore? And they're like, no. And my take is, I think they're a symptom. What do you think about that? You can disagree. It's okay. We do that here too.
I think I kind of would agree that it's a symptom of what's going on. It's hard for me to pin that on purely obesity, though, because you can see very similar situations with addiction behavior.
Mm-hmm.
And, why do you constantly eat popcorn at the movie theater? Why?
Because it's delicious.
Why do we have snacks at popcorn in the movie theaters? It's because culture put it there.
Yeah.
We've been following that dogma, but we've never actually said that, that was a bad choice. That's a bad habit. We shouldn't do that. We should be selling carrots and celery instead.
Sure.
But, unless you have an R and Y, don't do that. Don't do it. No, so I think there's a lot of truth to that, to say that, you're calming down a lot of the noise, so to speak, in basically getting rid of some of the symptoms of obesity.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
But I think it expands farther than that. But
yeah.
No, I wouldn't disagree with that.
Yeah. I mean, don't get me wrong. You're sort of left standing holding the bag, right? Like all those things go away and you go, oh shit, what do I do now? Right? Like back to what Rob was saying about like, hey, I'm an emotional eater. I am too, and there are times where I feel like, I just want to have an emotional eat. The difference is that I take my medicine and I may lean into that, just like Rob said. But honestly, I usually don't eat very much of it, or I don't think it tasted that good once I taste it. And then I go, okay, what's next? And then usually I'm kind of looking internally, or, to think about why I'm feeling the way that I'm feeling, or I reach out to my community and I make a connection and we have conversations about it. And like, just, I think that growth and that piece of it, and having like being grounded in that way, that's made all the difference in the world. I think that might be the new habit. I think that's the healthy habit.
Much like a 12-step program, if you think about with addiction. Call your sponsor, you go to your meetings, you abstain, you write, you read the literature,
Yeah.
I think there's so much awareness though in what you're saying you do, right? Like there's so much intention, right? And I think that is one of the most powerful things that we have. And I think it's one of the most important things that we have in this community and realistically in life, right? It's really being aware of certain things and doing certain things with very specific intentions, right?
Yes.
And which is different from something like a habit, because a lot of times whatever that habit is sort of subconscious, or maybe it is, but to a different level, right? And I love when people are conscious about what they're choosing to do and why they're choosing to do it, and are aware of its effect on yourself, but of the other people around you, right? And that's sort of with everything. Like that's something I try to teach my kids.
Love that, Rob.
I think some of it is the fact that maybe this medication has actually just caused you to pause and ask the one question, why?
Yeah.
Why? Yeah.
And then as soon as you start looking at everything that you do, you just start turning into that 5-year-old again and say, well, why?
Yeah.
Well, why?
Stop asking that. Oh my God.
Why?
I actually loved that.
My 5-year-old.
I loved the why stage.
Yeah. They drive to school with the whys, and I was like,
Why?
The Lord said it shall be. That's all I can say.
My kid got an award at school for being the most inquisitive and the most curious. And I was like,
that.
That's the
nice.
best.
I like that.
Don't you ever let me tell you different. That's the best award you can get.
Yeah.
Yes.
I will come at them. That's how we end up with surgeries that, treat obesity and medicines that treat obesity.
That's right.
Cures for
Asking
cancer,
the
because people
questions.
go, but why?
Yep.
And that's what we're trying to do here, is I think the slowing down piece is the pause, right, is very interesting, because I'm telling you, I swear people have been saying these things that I'm telling you I do now to me my entire life. And I knew they were true, but I literally could not make the connections in my brain until this medicine. I couldn't. But now I see all the things and apply all the things and do all the things. And of course, there's always fear, I think, too. And I'm curious what you guys think about it, and then we can finish. Of regain, like, do you guys feel like even on, even doing all the things that you do you feel like, well, I've always gained it back before, so eventually I will? Or do you have that sort of like looming? Because I feel like that I will see people that are getting closer and closer to like maintenance, if you will, are terrified of it. I mean, they're vulnerable and breaking down. And I've had those moments too. And I'm curious, like on the side of surgery, is that something you guys have experienced?
For me, I've experienced regain from my lowest weight.
Mm-hmm.
And so it's definitely been kind of like a mental barrier. And again, asking those questions like, is this normal? Is this right? Should I be doing this? It's easy to get kind of panicky about it.
Right.
But one of the things that I try to remember, and I say this a lot to myself and other people too, is that like our bodies are not statues. They're meant to mold and form and be different in different seasons. And especially for women, like we're designed to change. Like we are, and this is where I'll get into, look at Rob, he knows. He's like, oh,
don't talk about your period again. Good God,
Talk about the
I know.
female.
But it's like with these men,
Rob is just like my
they have,
husband. I get it.
they have 24/7 cycles. Women,
like,
we're different every week.
I'm like, it's culture.
It makes me think of Talladega Nights. We're talking about the mysterious lady parts.
That's
We
right.
actually have an episode of the podcast where we're talking about that, and we call it
I need to
Mysterious
listen to
Lady
it.
Parts.
Yes,
Mounjaro, Mysterious Lady
I
Parts.
love it.
Yeah.
We need to talk more about it. Don't get me started on that.
We do.
but-
We talk about it a lot here. So
Yeah.
you can come anytime. You can guest host. It'll be fine. We'll have a PCOS.
Awesome.
Yeah,
Perfect.
you're all about
Anytime.
the period. Leave the boys behind. It'll be fine.
I love it. It would be a welcome gift. But yeah, so we're not, our bodies aren't statues. We're made to be different. And I think that's been a good practice. You know, I haven't gotten pregnant to this point yet, but that's definitely something on the horizon, hopefully. And I think it's been a really good experience to see such a big body transformation for myself, to when I get pregnant and go through that experience, I'm going to be like, oh yeah, my body's already had this huge transition before. This is just a different kind of transition. And so that's what's helped me. And again, lots of therapy and, mental work and all of that has contributed to it. But our bodies are not meant to be statues, and that's cool.
I love that. And that's a short. What about you, Rob?
You touched upon, I think it just comes down to perspective, Shay, right? Like you talked about the mental work that you put in. Like that was sort of what I hung my hat on from the very beginning, right? The mental work, the preparation that I put myself through to really make sure that this was something that was going to last for me. Have I experienced regain? Yeah, swings of around 15 pounds ish, 20 pounds sometimes, but a lot of times they were also intentional, right? So like if I was trying to put on muscle, then I would be eating more calories as a result, and I would be gaining some fat with that. And so I think my biggest thing, one of the biggest reasons I wanted the surgery was, and this was my very rudimentary thinking back then, but I still think it holds true to an extent, was I remember when I started CrossFit for the very first time. I don't do it anymore because my back won't do that. But I remember I was with a dietitian. She's like, oh, do you know how much you weigh? I'm like, yeah, I weigh 270. And she's like, okay. But she's like, let's weigh anyways, just so I can mark it down. And I remember I weighed in at 320 pounds. And I was like, where the hell did I get 50 pounds? Right. And and then, I had a conversation with people. I'm just like, do you remember what your McDonald's order was? I do, because it was a double quarter pounder with supersized fries, supersized root beer, and 20 nuggets.
Yeah.
And I'm in medical sales.
Solid order, Rob.
Right. Oh my God.
You don't want to eat it all, but that's a great order.
Right. But like, I would have that numerous times a week. And so when I come down to it, it's like, oh, where did that 50 pounds? I know exactly where it came from. Right. And right. And so one of the reasons I had the surgery was because like, if I ever fall off the wagon, because I knew my habits, I asked myself, where do you excel? Where do you fail? And I know that I am an all or nothing type of guy. And when I fall hard. And that's when I sort of go and I eat a whole bunch of stuff. And the surgery, and this is what I was planning, is if I fall, because I think I inevitably will, this will give me the opportunity to, I'm not eating a whole pizza, I'm going to eat a slice. I'm eating 2 slices, right? And it's going to give me that opportunity to catch myself and say, okay, this is how you have to deal with it. And then you get back on track. And and I always hope that this would give my family or friends the opportunity to give that intervention and say, hey, you got to stop. But it just worked out with me that I'm the one giving myself the intervention, saying, this is how you have to deal with it. Deal with it. and then
Yeah.
now you can move up. So I think it's worked
Love
out
it.
well, and it was just that preparation for me.
I love it. Thank you so much. That's awesome. I really appreciate that perspective. And I know that people in our community will really want to hear that, to be honest. Like many of the people that I began with, they're there now,
Yeah.
and they're scared and they're worried. And or a lot of people have lost access to the medication as well, So it's nice to be able to hear that. And I'm hoping, I have had some friends, like full disclosure, that have gotten off the medication, continue to lose and continue to be in a good place. And a lot of them will say it's because they did the mental work, not the habits, right? But the mental work that you needed to do so that when those things start to reoccur, they recognize it and can make different choices. But again, I think in an obese body and an obese brain, it's very difficult for most of us.
Sure.
So I think I hope that these treatments will continue to progress, and maybe one day our children won't have to suffer. That's the hope, right? That's the hope, because genetics suck sometimes.
Right.
Thank you so much for joining us today, guys. I appreciate that. I'll make sure to link everybody's social, website, everything in the show notes. It'll be in the audio version as well as on YouTube. So, but I'm gonna have you guys exit, and then we're gonna talk behind your back. So you may want to leave because it'll get weird. So
more period talk, then I'm staying. No.
Not this time,
Thank you, guys.
Yeah, I know.
Thank
you guys very
Dr.
much.
Fridley. Thank you so much, Rob.
Thanks for having us.
Have a good night. We hope Murph gets better.
Thank you.
All right. Thank you so much.
Bye.
Aw, that was great.
Man,
That was
I
awesome.
feel enlightened.
That was lovely, right? They're lovely.
That was a
Yeah.
great. This is a
That
great.
was a great
When we recorded it at night. This is a great evening. This
It's
was
a great evening. Yeah.
I feel enlightened because today was kind of ho hum meh.
Meh.
And then
Yeah. Samesies. It was
Rob
meh.
had such like sage advice and just
Oh yeah. he
wise
does.
words. Dr. Fridley was. You could tell he's a very kind doctor, kind surgeon. Look at you. And Shay, I'm just impressed with Shay. Shay is,
Isn't she? We
insightful.
have to have her on as a guest host.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I would have them all out again.
I felt the same when I was on their show. They were just so gracious and kind and wise, and I was just like, yeah, we got to have on ours. Like, that was super good. And Dr.
It
Fridley
was.
was amazing. Right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Go see Dr. Fridley if you're in Florida.
Yeah. If you're in Tampa. Yeah.
In the Tampa area. Maybe if
Yeah,
you're in St.
awesome.
Pete, I'll go into St. Pete in June.
Oh, nice. Hey.
And listen, if
Isn't
we
that
get
where,
any
like, the
more
rich folk
awesome
live?
person to interview, do not schedule during my break because I'm sick of y'all.
I can't help it when they're famous, Kat.
I know. Rosie O'Donnell. I was in
Rosie
France.
O'Donnell in France. Yes. This episode likely won't come out before we do that famous person episode. So when you guys see that we interview Lauren Manzo about lap band and GLP1s and the media and all the things, yay, that'll be really good. And so I keep, unfortunately, every time I turn around and I'm going to schedule someone famous, like, Kat's on vacation.
It's not like I take vacations all the time.
Yeah.
I don't.
I tried to do it for this week. I just want to say that for the record.
I
But
get it.
it was like, I can't. And I was like, okay. So it's all right.
It's not like
It'll
I
work out. It'll be
vacation all
fine.
the time. I don't.
Yes.
I don't. I do I'm envious of Jernine's access to unlimited flying anywhere. So
I know. It's awesome.
well, she
Yeah.
sort of, pays for it because she
Well, sure.
works.
Flies for it. Yeah. Awesome. Well, I think that was a really good episode. I'm thankful for it, and I am really surprised. I didn't know if I was going to be able to get a bariatric surgeon to agree with the fact that I said that I think that those are all just symptoms of your disease. I think those bad habits are just symptom of your disease, but he totally did. I was hoping he was going to tell me why I was wrong. I mean, not hoping, but he was like, nah, that makes sense. I'm like, oh yeah. But I loved his point about the pause, that pause and that, do I really? That's a big thing for me. I didn't have a pause before. There was no pause on Kim.
I would try to take a pause button, but I was just, what Rob said about losing his weight and having value.
Mm-hmm.
So I've gained and lost many times, and
Same.
it's not with my mom. when I lost 50 pounds, I'll never forget. And then it's in one of my TikToks where I wanted someone to see me. I wanted to matter. I wanted to be valuable to that person, to my family. And when she did not say a word, when I walked into the room and I hadn't seen her and I'd lost 50 pounds, she said nothing.
Nothing.
And it destroyed me a little bit. Like
Of course
it hit really hard. So I understand. And that's where I do think that's where I felt the spiral started to happen, where I, at that point, regain started to happen. So
Yeah,
I get
I
it.
totally get it. Yeah, it makes a lot of sense. And I think, the friends and family and the opinions and the standards,
I
like
don't
that
care
can get in
anymore.
the way. There's a certain amount of, I think, work that you do, like the self work, like Rob was talking about,
Mhm.
right? That, kind of, I don't know, it just sort of gives you another layer of oomph. Like, it's
Yeah,
just, hey, you know what? That's okay. You can feel how you feel,
it's
but
still
I know
okay
what I
now.
know.
Yeah, like
Yeah,
I
I know.
don't I
Yeah.
don't have to prove that I have to matter to anybody anymore. Like,
No, I don't have to
but
or want to, you know?
right.
As a
But
matter of
in
fact,
my
when I think
20s,
you have seen, when I do have certain people in my life and I
right.
feel like that this is gonna
Yeah.
sound crappy, but they're not worthy of my friendship. Like,
I get it. Yeah.
I'm like, "Okay, I'm just gonna remove myself from that no matter how much it hurts me because I think that I need that." I don't. I don't need that. I need friends that are here for
I
me
need real
and,
friends. I
I
need
need
people who
real.
cheer for me.
I need people that cheer
Yeah.
for me and clap for me and not just when the doors are closed or when no
Mhm.
one's looking. And, like I remember growing up, like I had a lot of like boyfriends like that, you know what I'm saying? That were like very much, oh, I'm fine to be your friend in public. And I felt, but I would, like they would want to
Yeah.
hide any kind of relationship. Like I don't do that anymore. And I don't do it with friends anymore. I don't do it with anybody anymore,
Yeah. No, it's no
so you're with me in public,
chalk it up to you.
people.
You what now?
You're with me in public, people. Like that's the thing. Yeah.
Yeah.
I will tell you, I don't know if it'll help at all, but like when I saw my mom, I haven't seen her in a while, many months. And I saw her and I've lost quite a bit since she saw me last.
Yeah.
And she said, "Oh my God, Kimmy, you're so thin or you're so small." I think she said, "I'm so proud of you." And gave me a hug. And I didn't know how to feel, Kat.
Yeah, I get it.
And then
Like,
I came in and they were like, "Sit down." And I was like, "It's cold." And my dad was like, "Here's a blanket," and like covered me up with it. And I was just like, "What just happened?" Do you
yeah.
know what I'm saying? And it's not
I don't
like
know how to take it. How do
they
I
didn't do anything wrong, right?
No. Mm-mm.
No, there was nothing wrong with anything that they did, but it was just so, I guess just I don't know, it's like out of my body. Like I smiling, I felt kind of awkward, but I was also really happy. And then I also felt like, wait a minute, why ain't you cover me when I was fat? Why ain't you give me that
Right.
blanket when I was fat and tell me to sit down? It was harder then to stand up.
Right.
But just stuff like that. Like, I mean, it is I'm just now at the size where I'm seeing people treat me different. Like, men give me deals and coupons and things I didn't even ask for. You know what I mean? For, just stuff like that. And in general, hey, I can do this for you. It's fine. That never happened to me before.
Yeah.
They don't
Or
do that.
like, you know what? This is I'm not judging how we raised our kids because I'm a
Sure.
a Gen Xer, but I remember I was carrying a huge tray into a store and there were two young men in front of the door. Not one of them helped me,
Good
and I
Lord.
know I was like, it's because I'm a fat old lady, isn't it?
I mean, right?
I'm like,
I
your mom.
yeah. The amount
Mom
of
didn't
men
raise
that
you.
stop now and hold that door. They scoot
But
ahead to hold, and I'm not skinny.
they hold
Like,
the door
I'm not,
now. Yeah, but they hold
but
the door now.
I'm in a more pleasant figure, more I think I don't know, appeasing. I don't know. I'm in a
Mhm.
smaller body, you know what I'm saying? And
Yeah,
I think it's differently. I think you kind of get to a certain size and you become a little bit invisible. You know what I mean?
you do.
Like it'd have been nice if when I was fat they had said, "Sit down, let me give you this blanket." Come to think of it, I feel like my dad's probably done that once before too.
He probably did.
Yeah.
He
Yeah.
probably did.
That's what I'm saying. I wasn't upset about it, but I did notice the difference,
That's great. You know what? I would tell you one of my sisters-in-law, because I have many.
Yeah. I
I
know.
love her to death. I'm sorry. I
Uh-oh.
came in, it was Christmas.
Pickles.
Christmas Eve, it was this year.
Yeah.
And she said, "Hey, Kat." She goes, "I'm sexy and I know it."
I'm not going to like Kat when I see you now. I mean, I've always thought you were banging, right? But when I see you, like you saw, what did I say I know you had a video recently and you were showing yourself and there was, all I got caught was this one picture with your butt and I went, damn.
She danced. She's like, "Okay, I see what you mean. Thank you."
Yes, I love it.
I love
That
her.
should totally be like a theme song. Like if it was by Prince, that would be amazing.
Oh God, she's a hoot. That's my stepsister-in-law.
awesome.
Sister-in-law. I have so many sisters. Well, not so
I
many
get it.
sisters-in-law, but anyway.
Yeah, I get that.
It's not that many.
Any NSVs this week?
Any
Or words of wisdom?
Oh, you know what? That's funny. This morning walking to the cycle bar, everyone's like, "Kat, you look really skinny. Like, did you lose more weight?" I'm like, "No, I actually gained like about 5 pounds, but thanks."
Yeah. Interesting.
I feel like that's an NSV.
Yeah, it is. Hell yeah. I gained a little weight, but I look thinner. Nice.
I look thinner. Thanks.
Nice. Yeah, that's awesome.
What's your NSV?
My clavicles. Want to see? I was trying on jewelry.
Dirty to me.
I was trying on these this jewelry for Lydia. What's that?
Wait a minute. When you do that, you look so like
I can't
like a little kid, but oh my gosh, look at those.
That's some bones right there.
And you know what? When you do
that's
this,
right, listening audience, you're missing out.
I know. When you do this, you barely see anything. Like you don't have a chin anymore.
Oh no, I got one.
I know, but you don't.
Mostly skin. That's all. So you and your looks like you lost weight, but you gained weight. And me and my collarbones.
You want to see it? You want to see?
Want to see this collarbone? I was just showing off a necklace that Lydia gave me. And I went, oh my God, I was lit so well. I was like, what is
that ring you got last night? The black one, the first one.
Yeah, that's cool, right?
If it were a size 9, I would so.
Yeah, 9. So you have big fingers. Still,
I do. They did not shrink.
Interesting.
That's okay. I don't care.
I get it. I
don't care anymore.
I don't care either. I just kind of want my rings to fit. They're not 9. No, but 9. Look, I do not have skinny fingers. They are little sausages.
They're long.
You know, they're long sausages, but you know, like they are sausages. Mine are too. Like or they're stubby. Like mine are long. Yeah. Here we go. Whoopah! That's an episode. That's a wrap.
You're not alone.
Whoopah!
It's not your fault.
Yep. Hasta la pasta. Then join us on the Plus Sides, Cracking the Obesity Code, the groundbreaking podcast helping people change their lives one episode at a time. The Plus Sides podcast is a disruptor. We're breaking down barriers, smashing stereotypes, and sharing inspiring stories that'll leave you feeling informed and empowered. Join us every week to learn from doctors who are specialists around GLP1 medications like Ozempic, wegovy, or Mounjaro. They'll provide you with science and facts to validate these incredible stories. But that's not all. We'll also bring you the voices of the GLP1 Mounjaro TikTok community, real people who face the challenges of obesity-related diseases and disorders and discovered the incredible plus sides of GLP1 medications. Our episodes are filled with heartwarming stories, laughter, and moments of triumph. You'll connect with our amazing community members who are reclaiming their health and experiencing their fullest lives. Are you ready to embark on a journey of discovery and empowerment? Tune in to the Plus Sides, Cracking the Obesity Code, and together we'll change the narrative around obesity and end the stigma. Subscribe now on YouTube or your favorite podcast platform and join our incredible community. Let's celebrate the plus sides of life together, because every story deserves to be heard. Every life deserves to shine, and everyone deserves access to expert knowledge and medication. The Plus Sides Podcast. You're not alone. It's not your fault. Let me tell you a quick story. I was telling Kat how I was regaining weight after my 100-pound loss using GLP-1 medications, and I was having snacky cravings and waking up at 3 a.m. and I had hot flashes, and I was worried. But Kat was like, listen, I went through this last year. It's perimenopause, and I started HRT, and she used this company called Winona. So I started going there to see if this was something that was going with me. Turns out it was, because I'm 46. And it's been amazing. It's taken a while to find the right dose, but once I did, it's just
been huge. I've been sleeping. I feel more myself again. And the hot flashes are gone, which is, geez, really bad. So I will tell you, it's just been so big for me. And so I wanted to partner with them on the podcast because obviously many of our listeners are going through this same age range and definitely are having these issues. And there's just no need for you to suffer. So if you go to the link that's in our link tree, you can click on that and save money. If you go there and you meet all the criteria, and this might be something for you to try. So I just want to make sure you have this great resource because it's just been such a big difference for me and Kat. Again, you can go to the link in our link tree and get what you need. Today's episode is brought to you by Ro, a telehealth platform that's changing the game of GLP-1 access. What sets Ro apart? Ro understands the challenges of navigating insurance hurdles and the skyrocketing prices of GLP-1 medications. That's why they specialize in getting insurance approvals for GLP-1s. And if insurance is a barrier, they go a step further by prescribing brand name zepbound vials for prices close to those of compound GLP-1s. With Ro, you're not just getting a prescription, you're getting a partner in your journey that's helping you access affordable treatment and guiding you every step of the way. Whether it's insurance approvals or cost-effective alternatives, Ro is here to make sure that you get the medication you need. Visit ro.co/plussides with a Z today to see how they can help you take control of your weight management journey with affordable, accessible care. That's ro.co/plussides with a Z, making healthcare work for you. Check out the link in our show notes for more details. Are you interested in understanding GLP-1 medications like Ozempic, Wegovy, or Mounjaro? Then join us on the Plus Sides, Cracking the Obesity Code, the groundbreaking podcast helping people change their lives one episode at a time. The Plus Sides podcast is a disruptor. We're breaking down barriers, smashing stereotypes, and sharing inspiring stories that'll leave you feeling informed and empowered. Join us every week to learn from doctors who are specialists around GLP-1 medications like Ozempic, Wegovy, and Mounjaro. They'll provide you with science and facts to validate these incredible stories. But that's not all. We'll also bring you the voices of the GLP-1 Mounjaro TikTok community, real people who face the challenges of obesity-related diseases and disorders and discovered the incredible plus sides of GLP-1 medications. Our episodes are filled with heartwarming stories, laughter, and moments of triumph. You'll connect with our amazing community members who are reclaiming their health and experiencing their fullest lives. Are you ready to embark on a journey of discovery and empowerment? Tune in to the Plus Sides, Cracking the Obesity Code, and together we'll change the narrative around obesity and end the stigma. Subscribe now on YouTube or your favorite podcast platform and join our incredible community. Let's celebrate the plus sides of life together because every story deserves to be heard. Every life deserves to shine, and everyone deserves access to expert knowledge and medication. The Plus Sides Podcast. You're not alone. It's not your fault.